Welcome back. We are in Chapter 10, Probability, focusing on Lesson 7, Combinations, and this is the guided practice. So let's go ahead and do a couple of these together, and then I'll have you do some on your own. So the first one says, if you have watermelon, cantaloupe, and honeydew, how many combinations of two fruits are there? Okay, so we're looking for combinations of two fruits. And remember, whenever we see that word combinations, that means that the order does not matter. Okay? Now, let's say that watermelon, we're going to use a W, cantaloupe is going to be C, and honeydew is going to be H. Okay? So let's start with all of the options for a watermelon first. So you can have a watermelon with a cantaloupe. You can have a watermelon with a honeydew. Those are all the options, okay? Now let's move to cantaloupe. Cantaloupe, you can go with a watermelon, or you can have cantaloupe with a honeydew. And then lastly, there's honeydew, right? So honeydew can go with a watermelon, or honeydew can go with a cantaloupe. Perfect. So these are all of the options. Now we just need to go, since the order doesn't matter and watermelon and cantaloupe is the same thing as cantaloupe and watermelon, we can go ahead and cross out those duplicates. So let's start here on the top row, the one on the left, watermelon and cantaloupe, that's the same thing as cantaloupe and watermelon, so we can cross out that one. Watermelon and honeydew, that's the same thing as honeydew, watermelon, so we're going to cancel that one out. And then let's move down here. Cantaloupe honeydew is the same thing as honeydew cantaloupe, so we can cancel that one out. So what we're left with are these are our outcomes for this particular combination. So we are left with 3 outcomes. So, how many combinations of two fruits are there? We should say 3 combinations of 2 fruits. Okay, so so 3 combinations of 2 fruits. All right, and that's how that one works. Okay, let's go on to the next. So the next one says, how many 3-letter combinations are possible using the letters D, E, F, G, and H? Okay. Now, these are 3-letter combinations. 3-letter combinations are possible. So we know that we're using 3 letters at a time, and it's a combination, which means that the order does not matter, which means there's going to be duplicates that we can cancel out. That's what that means. Boom. For whenever we see that word combination, we should think the order doesn't matter, therefore there's going to be duplicates, and we're going to have to cancel out the duplicates. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to write down all the 3-letter combinations that include a D first. So we can go here with D, E, F. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep these first 2 together. I'm going to keep D and E together and get all of the combinations that have a D and E. So D, E, F, and then D, E would be G, would be the next one. D, E, G. So there's kind of like this logic kind of system of doing this. So we keep the D and the E together. So D, E, F, D, E, G, and then D, E, H would be the next one. Okay, so those are all the combinations that have D, E together. So now we're done with E, but we can still there's still more combinations with D, which is really what we're trying to do. So now we're going to switch it up to D, F, and keep D and F together. So the next one's going to be D, F, G, and then D, F, H. Okay, so D, F, G, D, F, H. Okay, so now those are all the combinations that have D and F together. And now we're going to switch it and make it D, G, DG, and there's really only one, DGH. And that's the last one, the last combination that involves a D. And notice that all of these have a D. D, 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 D. So those are all the combinations that involve a D. So now we're going to switch it to E. All right? And we're going to go ED, EDF. And then we're gonna keep E and D together for a while. ED, so we have EDF. That was the first one. Now we're gonna have EDG. And then we're gonna have EDH. Okay, and then at this point, there's no other options to keep E and D together. So we're gonna change it to EF. So then it's gonna be, we're gonna keep E and F together. So it's going to be EFG and then EFH. Wait, EDF, EDG, EDH, and then it should be EFG and then EFH. Yeah, EFH. EFH. Yeah, and now there's no other combinations with E and F being together, so we need to go EG, and then EG, it has to be H. So it's just really, really important to do it in a systematic way. So now we have all the combinations for D, all the combinations for E. Now we have to write down all the combinations for F. So, yeah, all the combinations for F. All right. So we're going to go F, and then we're going to have F and D be partners first. So F, D, so F, D, E, and then F, D, G, and then F, D, H. Okay, F, D, H. Okay, so those are all the F, D, H. Those are all the combinations with F, D. But there's still more combinations involving F. So now we're going to partner up F and E. So it's going to be F, F, E, G, and then F, E, H. Right, so those are all the combinations that have F and E being partners, but there's still more combinations involving F. So now we're going to partner F with G, and it's going to be F, F, G, H. All right, perfect. So those are all the combinations involving F. So now we're going to go ahead and include G in the mix. So the first G partner G is going to have is going to be D. So it's going to be G, D, G, D, E, and then G, D, G, D, F, and then G, D, H. So those are all of the combinations that have G and D being partners. Now G is going to be partnered up with E. So it's going to be G, G, E, F, and then G, E, H. Now those are all the combinations involving G and E being partners. So now we have to have G and F be partners. So it's going to be G, F, H. G, F, H. All right, perfect. Okay, now we just need to write all of the combinations involving H. Okay, we'll use this one. We'll use this one. No, we'll use this one. Okay, no, we'll use this one. Trying to decide what color. It's going to be a mystery, mystery, mystery. No, you know what? We'll go with this one. Oh, shoot. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, here we go. So H. The suspense. What color am I going to use? It's orange. Okay, it's a happy orange. Okay, H. So the first partner that H is going to have is going to be D. So it's going to be H, D, H, D, E, and then H, D, HDF, and then HDG, and then, yeah, that's it, HDG. Okay, so those are all of the combinations that involve H and D being partners. Now we're going to partner up H and E. H and E, so it's going to be HEF, and then HEG. And those are all the ones that include H and E being partners. And then, so now we're going to partner up H and F, so it's going to be HFG. And those are all the combinations for H. So now we have all of the combinations for D, all the combinations, or three-letter combinations involving E, all the three-letter combinations involving F, and all the three-letter combinations involving G, and also all the three-letter combinations involving H. Whew, that was a lot. Okay, so now since we know that it is a combination, we need to go ahead and cancel out all the duplicates. So I'm going to start here with our first one on the left, DEF. DEF is the same thing as EDF, right? There's the E. See, look, E, there's the D, there's the F. These are the same, so this is a duplicate, so I don't need that one. But it is also the same thing as FDE. This is another duplicate, so now we have two duplicates. Okay, so we have to cancel out both of those. Okay, so let's move on to DEG. DEG is the same thing as EDG, so that is a duplicate. And it is also the same thing as GDE because they both have a G, they both have a D, and they both have an E. So this is also a duplicate, so we need to cancel that one out. All right. So then let's move on to DEH. Well, DEH is the same thing as EDH, so this is a duplicate. And there should also be a duplicate with H. HDE is the same thing as DEH. So this is also a duplicate. Okay, moving on to DFG. DFG is the same thing as FDG. So that is a duplicate there, and it's also the same thing as GDF. These are duplicates as well. Oh, is that DFG? I'm right here. Okay, now we're here. DFH. DFH. DFH is the same thing as FDH. So they both have a D, both have F and H. So this is a duplicate. And it's also the same thing as DF and H, DFH. Okay, so those are duplicates. All right. Now let's move on here to DGH. DGH is the same thing as GDH, right there. And it's also, DGH is the same thing as HDG, right there. Okay. So now we have all of the duplicates canceled out that involve the letter D. Now we're going to move on to E. EFG is the same thing as FEG, right there. And it is also the same thing as GEF. Okay, let's move on to the next. EFH is the same thing as FEH. The F, the E, the H, these cancel. And it's also the same thing as HEF right there, this one right there. Those are also duplicates. Okay, then let's move here to EGH. EGH is the same thing as GEH. That's a duplicate. And which is also a duplicate of EHEG. Okay, lastly, right here, FGH is the same thing as GFH. And is also the same thing as HFG. So that is one more duplicate. So let's go ahead and count up all of the three-letter outcomes that we have, which would be right in this region right here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's how many 3-letter combinations are possible using the letters? There are 10 combinations possible. All right, there we go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now it is your turn. I want you to go ahead and try problem 3. So here's our friend, the pause dragon, reminding us to pause our device. Go ahead and work out problem 3, and then when you get done with it, press play, and let's see how you did. Okay, we're back. Okay, so how many different 2-person debating teams can be chosen from 6 students? So we don't know the students' names, so let's just go ahead and call them A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, E, and F. Okay, so those are going to be our student names, and these are 2-person debate teams. Okay, so we're just going to go write down all the combinations. So let's start with A. We're going to write all the combinations involving A. So we're going to have A being with B. A is going to go with C. A is going to go with D. A is going to go with E. And A is going to go with F. Okay, so those are all of the 2-person debate teams, including A. Then we're going to move to B. B can go with A. B can go with C. B can go with D. And B can go with E. And lastly, B can go with F. Okay, now we're going to move to C. So with C, C can go with A. C can go with B. C can go with D. C can go with E. And C can go with F. All right, now C is complete. How about let's start with D. All the 2-person debating teams that D is a part of. D can go with A. D can go with B. D can go with C. D can go with E. And D can go with F. That's D. Now we're going to turn to E. So E can go, let's see here. E can go with A. E can go with B. E can go with C. E can go with D. And E can go with F. All right. Now let's go ahead and turn to F. F can go with A. F can go with B. F can go with C. F can go with D. F can go with E. All right, so we have all of the possible outcomes there, but we need to cancel out the duplicates. So let's start here with AB. AB is the same thing as BA. AC is the same thing as CA. AD is the same thing as DA. AE is the same thing as EA. AF is the same thing as FA. Now let's move to BC. BC is the same thing as BC. BD is the same thing as DB. BE is the same thing as EB. BF is the same thing as FB. Now let's move here to C. CD is the same thing. CD is the same thing as DC. CE is the same thing as EC. CF is the same thing as FC. Now let's move to DE. DE is the same thing as ED. And DF is the same thing as FD. And lastly, EF is the same thing as FE. So now we have all of our possible two-person debating teams. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15 possible two-person debate teams. There we go. So if you got that one right, awesome job. Okay, let's move on to some more examples. Problem 4, on Mondays at Pizza Pan, you can choose 2 toppings at no extra cost for your pizza. The toppings are mushrooms, sausage, and peppers, and extra cheese. How many different pizzas can you order? So before you get started, I want you to do this on your own, but I want to go ahead and make sure that we're using the same labels. So mushrooms, we're going to use M for mushrooms, S for sausage, P for peppers, and C for cheese. So go ahead and get started on problem 4 only. So pause your device. When you get done, press play and we'll talk about it. All right, we're back. Let's go ahead and figure out the toppings. So there are 2 toppings. Okay. So, yeah, let's get started. So the first one, let's go with all the options for mushrooms, okay? So mushrooms can go with sausage. So mushroom sausage, mushroom peppers, or mushrooms and extra cheese. So those are all the combinations for mushrooms. Now let's move on to sausage. We can have sausage with mushrooms. We can have sausage with peppers. Or we can have sausage with extra cheese. Okay, so those are all the combinations for sausage. Let's move on to peppers. Peppers can go with mushrooms. Peppers can go with sausage. And peppers can go with extra cheese. Perfect. Now the last one would be the extra cheese. The extra cheese can go with mushrooms. The extra cheese can go with sausage. And the extra cheese can go with peppers. Peppers, that's a P. That's a P. P for peppers. Okay, CP. Perfect. So here we have all of the possibilities. Now we just need to go ahead and cross out all the duplicates. So we have mushroom sausage, which is the same thing as sausage mushroom. We have mushroom peppers, which is the same thing as peppers mushroom. And we have mushroom extra cheese, which is the same thing as extra cheese and mushroom. Okay, let's move here. Sausage and peppers is the same thing as peppers and sausage. Sausage and extra cheese is the same thing as extra cheese and sausage. And then right here, peppers and extra cheese is the same thing as extra cheese and peppers. So there we go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So how many different pizzas can you order? 6 different pizzas. So if you got that one right, awesome job. Okay. Let's go ahead and move to problem 5. Problem 5 says, how many different person relay teams are possible with 4 people? Okay, so before you get started, we don't know who the 4 people are, so we're just going to call them A, B, C, and D. And notice this is a 3-person relay, okay, relay team. So it's going to involve 3 of those letters at a time. So go ahead and pause, work out this problem 5, and when you get done, press play and we'll talk about it. All right, we're back. Let's go ahead and write down all the 3-person combinations with only 4 people. So the first combination would, let's write all the 3-person relay teams involving A first. Okay, so we're going to have A, but since we're talking about 3 people, we need a partner. So let's partner A with B first and write all of those different combinations. So A, B, C would be 1, and then A, B, D. Now, there's no more options with A and B partnering together, so now we're going to partner A and C together. So it's going to be A, C, D. A, C, D. And those are all the outcomes having A involved in the team. So let's move on to B. And the first one's going to be, we're going to partner B and A together. So it's going to be B, A, so B, A, C, and then B, A, D. Okay, those are all the combinations involving partner B and A being partnered together. So now let's partner B and C together. B, C, D. Okay, and that's it. Let's move on to C. We're going to partner C and A together. C, A, B, and then C, A, D. It's really important that you do this in a systematic way. You just can't randomly do it or else you're going to miss some. Okay, so those are all of the combinations involving C and A partnering together. And we know that because we arrived at the last letter and there's no other options. So the next partners are going to be C. C is going to be partnered with B. C, B, D. Okay, so those are all the teams involving C. Okay, let's move on to D. So we're going to partner D and A first. D, A, so D, A, B, dab. And then D, A, C. Those are all the combinations partnering D and A. So now we're going to partner D and B. D, B, so it's going to be D, B, C. All right. Those are all of the combinations listed. So now we need to cross out the duplicates. So A, B, C is the same thing as B, A, C. And it's also the same thing as C, A, B. Okay? A, B, D is the same thing as B, A, D. And it's also the same thing as D, A, B. So here's another duplicate we need to cancel out. ACD is the same thing as CAD. And it's also, ACD is the same thing as DAC. Okay. Then we're going to move here. BCD is the same thing as CBD. And it's also the same thing as DBC. So now we have all of our possible combinations. So it says how many different 3-person relay teams are possible with 4 people? There are 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 different 3-person relay teams are possible. So if you got that one right, awesome job. Let's go ahead. I'm sorry about my cloud. My cloud it has some regions that aren't as good as others. That's a thunderous cloud with a lightning bolt coming down. Oh, something like that. Maybe it needs a friend lightning bolt. I think so. Okay, there we go. Then one more. This is the relay team lightning bolt cloud. Okay. All right, number 6. It says the students in Mr. Trumbull's English class need to read 2 books from a list of 7 books. How many different combinations of books are possible? So before you get started, let's just go ahead so we're all on the same page. There's 7 books. We don't know what the books are called, but let's call them A, B, C, D, E, F, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So those are 7 possible books. So you just need to read 2 books, okay? So we need to write down all the different combinations. So, okay, now is your time to go ahead and pause, work out this problem. When you get done, press play and we'll talk about it. Okay, we're back. Let's start with all the different possibilities for choosing to read book A. So with book A, you could go AB, you could go AC, you could go AD, you could go AE, you could go AF, or you could go AG. Okay, let's go to B now. So for B, we could go BA, we could go BC, we could go BD, we could go BE, we could go BF, or we could go BG. Okay, or if we choose to read book C, we would go with CA, then we go with CB, then we go CD, CE, then CF, then CG. Okay, and now let's go ahead and read book, we read book C. Now we're going to read lovely book D. And we're going to go DA. We're going to write all the possibilities for D. So DA, DB, DC, DE, DF, and DG. D, that's a G. G. Okay. Now we have all the possibilities for D. Let's go ahead and write all the possibilities for E. So it's going to be EA. Oh, wait, not that one. This one. EA. EB. EC. ED. EF. EG. Okay, now we're going to move on to book F. And the first one's going to be FA, and then FB, FC, FD, FE, and FG. And for the final book reading is going to be G, GA, GB, GC, GD, oh, that's a G, GD, GE, and GF. All right, whew, that was a lot. Now it's time to cross out all the duplicates, my favorite part. Okay, so AB is the same thing as BA, AC is the same thing as CA, AD is the same thing as DA, AE is the same thing as EA, AF is the same thing as FA, and AG is the same thing as GA. Whew, all right. BC is the same thing as CB, BD is the same thing as DB, BE is the same thing as EB, BF is the same thing as FB, BG is the same thing as GB. All right, on to the C's. CD is the same thing as DC, CE is the same thing as EC, CF is the same thing as FC, CG is the same thing as GC, and now we're in the D's. DE is the same thing as ED, DF is the same thing as FD, DG is the same thing as GG. Now on to E's. EF is the same thing as FE, EG is the same thing as GE, and finally FG is the same thing as GF. So there we have it. All of our outcomes, our combinations are right here. So we just need to count them up. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So how many different combinations of books are there? What did I just say? Did I say 21? Let me count one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21 combinations. So if you got that one right, awesome job. Okay. We have